Hello and welcome to the video for Thursday, July 30th. I'm going to let people into the waiting room, in from the waiting room. Hello.
Hello, hi, yes, I know we missed me.
Hi.
And my big kitchen sign.
Yay, is that new or was that always there?
It's always been there.
Oh, okay. I knew that.
Yes, you did. But it's okay. Now we have Turtles inside. What crimes will he commit?
Yay.
Actually, I could totally put him in show and tell. I just took pictures. And he's gonna get stuck under the chair again. Oh. Oh shoot, my pizza. I'll be right back.
Okay. We'll all just wait here.
Yes, you must wait until I return. You can't start the class without me.
Okay. God forbid.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
I actually had a question for you. If you don't mind me starting right off with a question.
You'll be my guest.
So I was trying to do. Last night I was making like a little vector image, like I image trace something into Illustrator, and then I wanted to make it a ping, and then place it into InDesign. But for some reason, like the quality was like terrible. It was super pixelated, and I could not really. I don't really know why that would be because I exported it like a pretty high resolution. I was wondering if you know of any possible reason that could have happened.
I do know one reason why that might have happened. InDesign has different views where you can look at things in different qualities. And your copy of InDesign might be set to show the lowest quality view.
Oh.
Let me, what I'll do is, let me open InDesign document.
Okay.
And then I'll show you an example of it. Okay, here's InDesign. Let's see. What was that? All right, so use performance, mass display. Okay, view preview. Okay, so hello everybody. How are you?
Good. Hello.
Good. Luke had a question I wanted to address, so I'm going to share my screen and answer the question. So Luke, there's really only two possibilities. One is that the image is, in fact, got saved as low quality, and that's why it's showing up that way. And the other is that that InDesign is displaying it low quality. So what I've got here is somebody's copy of their building blocks daycare, whatever this assignment was, right? And I've zoomed in on it, and can you see the sort of stair-steppiness of the letters?
Yeah.
They're kind of pixelated. Okay, so watch this. So that's right now under View. If you click on your View drop-down menu and you come down to Display Performance, I have what's called Fast Display. And what's going to happen is it's going to show the images very quickly, but they're going to look crappy, right? Now, look at the edges of these letters right now, and then watch what happens when I change it to high quality. Display performance, high quality. You see how they smoothed out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just sort of a CPU saving function. Like if you have a really memory intensive document, you can sort of dumb it down so that you won't have to wait every time you switch a page or something.
Okay, I see. That makes sense.
Okay,
But
so yes.
it was just kind of weird because I got it to be like a high quality image, just as any sort of font would be, you know. Like when I dropped in the JPEG, it was super pixelated and ugly. But then I tried dragging the vector image straight from Illustrator into InDesign, and it was like totally legit. And I don't know why that would happen. Kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like you said, it's got a pretty good. Adobe programs are pretty good about copying or dragging files back and forth. So I don't know what to tell you because I don't know what the specific file is or why it jacked up. The only other thing that I could think of is, and this is going to sound weird, but maybe it couldn't find the actual file, and so it just displayed like a preview of it in the one that you placed. I mean, I just really don't have any explanation without actually trying it myself on your computer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so my suggestion would be to, as long as you have this set on view high quality, if you're getting better results out of just dragging it in, then do that, you know. But I don't know why that one file got jacked up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for answering the question.
Yeah. Okay, so let me look at the class website here and see.
Hey, Greg, can my tortoise join us for school today?
Is it a tortoise?
Yeah. Well, he's a little one. Hang on, I can lift up.
I must see this turtle.
Is he down here? Can we see him? Ignore my school bags and stuff.
I love
Oh
him.
yeah.
His name is Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Sam, you're famous now. Oh, let's not touch that.
Is it like SAM, like Sam?
Yeah. Okay, hang on. I need to
That's
wiggle
okay.
worm my way around. Yes, I know you don't like me being. You don't like being held.
Oh my gosh, he's so cool.
Back to Nana.
Is that one of those? Is that a tortoise that's going to get super huge? I guess I'll wait till she comes back. Hey Kim, is that tortoise going to get super huge?
Sorry, I prefer if my turtle not electrocute himself.
Is it going to be is it a desert tortoise that gets large?
I don't think it's going to get much bigger. I'm not sure.
There are some that get like 150 pounds.
Oh, yeah. I've
Oops.
seen him, but I don't know if he's one of those ones or not.
Ooh.
I'll have to ask.
Mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Important things to ask when you get a pet. Like my friend did that with a potbelly pig and it got to be huge and was
Oh,
like
yeah.
just
Oh, yeah. I know how big piggies get, and I still want one.
My friend got a mini
Mm-hmm.
last week.
Let's see now, Eric. I have you listed for a presentation. Are you you have something ready?
Yeah, I got something.
Okay, and do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to share it?
I'll go ahead and share it. Let's see here.
All right, let me stop my share. Let me enable. Let me empower you, sir.
Uh-huh.
All right, now you have the power.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yep.
All right. So yeah, I just want to talk a little bit more about like scanning, just original art pieces, like sketches, and you know what I mean. Getting your stuff ready for like production, for animes too. But so I think we already talked about. I'm not too sure, but I think we already talked about Russell A. Kirsch inventing the scanner, which is a drum scanner in 1957. But I'm talking more about like the flatbed scanner, which took took until the 1970s for him to create. I've never used a drum scanner before, so honestly, I don't know too much about that. I can only afford a flatbed scanner, so that's what I use. Let's see here. So this is like how you would get your. These are some of my sketches that I turned into digital art or whatever. But this is what you would do to get your paper ready for a scan, so you can manipulate it in Photoshop or however you like. But usually you want to trace your lines and make sure they're thick so that you can make selections easier. Right here I use like a blue pencil and I traced over it with a black like marker kind of around the edges just so that I wouldn't have any problems, use clear, smooth white paper, even though this one on the right is really dirty. That was like my first one, and it was a little bit harder to color, I guess. So I didn't really finish it yet, but and I think scanning is important because when you're like, I want to be a graphic design artist and whatnot, but I want to be able to incorporate like my own art, into my work. And I find it easier just to draw it. So if I can scan it, it's easier than taking a picture or, doing some other, shortcut way or whatever. This is simple and the quality is going to be great every time. And, so I think it's important to have in your studio or whatever. But some of the pieces that I enjoyed as a kid kind of are like Tom and Jerry and this Mickey Mouse, because they were straight illustrations. I don't think there was any like I don't know like the full process, but I think they were all sketches that were used in these cartoons, I think, right? And I think it was beautiful, like seeing a transition between real, like, human art and digital art. The possibilities are endless. Also, this courage right here. That's kind of like what I did with this sketch right down here on the bottom right. But I don't know. It's something that interests me because, yeah, like I said, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to create a character for a job unless I get lucky. So this is a good way to, make shapes and stuff, and that's pretty much why the scanner is important. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Nice job.
That's pretty cool. I would think the quality might be better than taking like a picture and then importing it. But I
Yeah,
don't
just, like
know.
holding it's really hard and stuff. It's professional if you just scan it really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just said that was just,
Scanning's a lot cleaner.
yeah. I realize they're not that, you can get some cheap ones, but I mean,
Hmm.
it's
So like,
sure.
what do you think a price of a decent one would be?
I don't know. I can only afford like, I can only get one that barely scans the image, honestly, but hopefully when I get some work in, I can start buying all that stuff. But,
How much work do you think you're going to do digitally? Like, are you basically going to recreate the work digitally?
I think I'm gonna do a lot of like regular work as far as logos and stuff. Not with, like, I'm not gonna use a scanner probably that much, but if I want to do like interesting logos that are, I might find hard to do on the computer, I'd rather just draw it really quick,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and for copyright reasons too, obviously, like no one could even, it would be mine originally too.
Do you think to some degree the cell phone has replaced the scanner?
Yeah, it definitely has, but I don't know. I was just proving that pretty much like it's easier using a scanner. Just toss the paper in there and close that. That's it. And plus,
There's,
you gotta
like-
hold the camera and you gotta like get the right lighting.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. There are scanner apps.
I don't know if I'm lazy, but it's just definitely more convenient with the scanner and stuff. But,
I think the lighting's a really good point.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's also the flatness aspect of it. It's always shooting it dead on and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just, I really enjoyed these cartoons in the past that were just strictly drawings, that, it's beautiful.
I guess I would throw in my experience here, which is I used to use scanners all the time. I'm a big fan of hand-drawn stuff, but as soon as I started working on digital, I pretty much just switched over to taking cell phone pictures of things because in my case, I'm almost entirely recreating it digitally, so I just kind of need a reference.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not saying like one or the other is better. I'm just saying like for a scanner, I might as well just have it there. It's easier.
Yeah.
Craig, did you use the scanner apps? Because I've had to download some of those for my work on the phone. There's special scanner apps.
I can't hold the camera still to save my life as well.
Yeah.
I see. I'm not even kidding. Like my hands shake. Like I have to hold my hand when I draw.
Oh, okay.
So that's better for me too as well.
Yeah.
Good point.
But no, it's an option. It's an option.
I guess a cell
If you have
phone
a really
on
good
a
scanner,
tripod,
it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
a cell phone on a tripod mount would be stable.
I'm still a big fan of scanners, and it was always my dream. You know how most scanners can do like 8.5 by 11 paper?
Yeah.
It was always my dream to own an 11 by 17 scanner. I just thought that would be the coolest thing.
Well, and then also there's, you can scan paint. Like, imagine if you could like scan a painting with texture on it, just for a background. Like,
Yeah.
There's so many things that you could do probably with the scanner. It's crazy. So,
Another thing that scanners are good for is optical character recognition. You guys know what that is? OCR?
no.
So this is going to sound funny, but like back when I was in high school, this is like 300 years ago, right? Before there were computers in everybody's house and we had typewriters, you remember seeing those in the museums, right? So I typed up a story when I was a kid, which was only on, it's only on paper, and it was, and in order to get that into
I
the
burnt myself, Coop.
in order to get that into the computer, I could put it on a scanner bed and I could run what's called optical character recognition. And what it does is it scans a picture of the text and then it translates the text into computer text. And you end up with essentially a Word document where it's scanned a typewritten page. So scanners are great for that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
You can also do art on scanners. I mean, you can do multi-layered pieces of art with three-dimensional objects and different layers of photos and stuff, and enhance your artwork that way.
Yeah. That's the way.
Yeah. So, well, it's cool. It's a nice job. I'm glad you did this. It makes me, it rekindles my dream to get a really good scanner someday.
I know it's old fashioned. I knew somebody was gonna say something. Like, I know there's apps out there. I know there's things that people came out with, but this is, I don't know. It's simple for me.
Every technology has its uses. I mean, cassette tapes were supposed to have gone away and they came back for God knows why. So, I mean, like, scanners have a purpose, and if I had a good scanner right here, I would definitely use it.
You're right. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric. That was nice.
Would you guys have any suggestions for people who are like messy sketchers to like transfer that into a clean line on Illustrator? Or is it just a matter of like drawing less messy?
It depends. I like, it depends on what you're trying to create. But if you want like that picture of like that I showed you of Hercules, it was like straight line, perfect line, or Mickey Mouse one or whatever. They're like clean lines. That's the dude right there with the skills.
Yeah. Unfortunately, computers don't do really well with dirty, sketchy stuff.
Yeah, mine was pretty bad. My first one.
Yeah. I mean, if you have something sketchy and you scan it in, you can basically use that sketchy piece in your art. But if you want to be able to translate it into something digital, the cleaner it is, the better, because the computers pick up really well on clean, dark lines.
Yeah, so it's a matter of drawing style then.
Yeah. I mean, there are some things you can do, like in Photoshop, there's this thing called the threshold control. And when you scan something in, you can move this threshold slider so that it picks up more of the grayscale. So you can move it one way or the other. And like, let's say you have a pencil sketch. If you move it one way, you'll get more of the pencil sketch. And if you move it the other way, you'll get less of it. And the idea is what you're trying to do is get the pencil lines as dark as possible. But in reality, the best thing to do is just draw it that way. And then if you draw a really clean sketch, you have a much better chance of getting something that you can use in either Photoshop or Illustrator. Make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. All right.
It makes sense, but it seems like you'd have to alter your style maybe. I think I'd rather alter the original.
It's not
some
for
people-
everyone. It depends on, you know, people. Some people can do multiple things. Some people can do one style, two styles. It's up to you.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I think like one thing you could,
I'm looking up some pencil sketches now. I want to see the difference between one
This
that's
is an
good.
interesting presentation.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing it.
I think one thing you could do would be like, if you didn't want to alter, like, you know, refine the sketch that you did to have like perfect lines, if you could just like put it on Illustrator and then make your picture transparent, somewhat transparent, and lock it, and then just draw over it.
Essentially, that's what a lot of people do.
That's what I would do too.
Yeah.
You couldn't just darken it so you don't have to draw everything? Gee.
Well, let me show you. I'm going to show you an example here. So I'm going to share my screen. Thank you for that presentation, Eric. Okay, so you see this. I just got this off the internet. So let's assume that this was a sketch that you made in the real world in pencil, and then you scanned it in. Okay. So what we're saying is the thing that's going to work best in digital are dark, clean lines. Now you can see that these lines are not that dark and they're not that clean. There's a lot of sort of messiness going on. So what I was talking about with the threshold is you can go image, adjustment, and then threshold. And let me show you what this does. As you bring the slider more to the right, it pulls in more and more information. So you can, but the information it's pulling in is pure black, right? So what it's trying to accomplish is it's trying to get really dark, clean lines. But on this particular drawing, it's not going to be very successful, right? Because everything is so dirty, right? In a case like this, you would be much better off just, you know, locking this layer down. So I'll click my lock icon, making a new layer on top of it, using a stylus, you know, with like an Intuos type of stylus, or maybe a Cintiq if you're so lucky. And then just basically redrawing the lines, you know. I can't draw with my mouse, I'm sorry, but you know, just redrawing the lines and then turning this thing off when you're done. The other option that you have is, of course, you could do it in Illustrator, and then you could use the pen tool, and you could make these, you know, super clean lines. But then, of course, the thing looks like very sort of mechanical in a sense. But, you know, you could make really nice lines with this thing. Let me see if I can get a halfway decent line here. Okay, it's not perfect, but so the pen tool is also in Photoshop, and I drew with that. And then I go to what's called paths, and I say make selection. And then after the selection got made, it looks like I went a little too far that way, but I can do edit stroke and stroke it with, you know, a certain thickness. Well, that was too thick. Let's try 2 pixels on the center. Okay. And then what you can see is, you know, when I turn this other layer off, you know, I've got a super clean line there. Obviously, I'd have to erase this thing here, but you could redraw your object and get, you know, perfect digital lines, or you could redraw it with a stylus, and you could still have sort of a bit of a loose, sketchy feel. But essentially, you'd be recreating the artwork digitally. When it was drawn like this, you almost would never be able to use the original work. Does that make sense?
You could also like, can't you like make a selection over there and use like keep the texture as well and just change the color a little bit with like Command U and Command B?
Yeah, that's a good idea. So,
Like for people who want to leave some texture in their art, if that's ever possible, if they're gonna do that. I'm just saying it's
absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I guess the rule of thumb that I work with is if you want clean lines, you either have to draw them, at the outset, because clean lines will scan in clean, right? Or you have to recreate them digitally, and then they're going to be very sort of mechanical, unless you're really good at using the stylus, and then you can create, very flowy, personalized lines. But yeah, but like you said, you could do a combination where you just do the outlines of this flower in black, and then you keep the interior of the flower with these sketchy lines, and that produces a nice texture. You're right. Okay. So let's see. Let me go to the class website here. Okay, apply computer graphics, blah, 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 presentation, link, finished work, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so why don't we look at whatever work you guys have done? So I'll go into my account here. And then we'll ask Diego what new stuff he has.
I have one new InDesign stuff.
Mountain Trail?
Should be, yeah, it's the Mountain Trail.
Nice.
Cool.
Looks good. Looks like the assignment, and I like your little rabbit over here.
Yep, I've met the Pinecone
Oh.
criteria.
Cool.
Okay, cool. That looks good.
I also did the revision of the make your own company one. Yeah, I revised it a little bit.
Okay, what types of things did you change?
I changed the corners to have expressions, and I fixed the center to be smaller.
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
And the text.
So it wasn't at the top. But I love the guy on the bottom right, his face.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's really cool. Looks like a real business.
Thanks.
Very nice. Okay, and let's see. Cynthia, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have the InDesign assignment from yesterday.
InDesign mountain thingy.
Oh wait, I haven't put in the file yet. Actually, it's
right here.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, you switched out the big picture.
Yeah, I switched it to the bottom left because I felt like I should put that picture there so you could see the guy. Because
Yeah,
if
cool.
it was on the bottom left, then you wouldn't be able to see the guy.
Yeah, he looks good. Very nice.
Thank you.
All right, and we have Eric. Anything?
Nothing new.
Okay, Carolina, still working on stuff? Carolina, are you there? Okay. Kim? What happened to Kim?
I'm here. I'm hungry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kim.
I probably have stuff on my face, but I have stuff.
Are you gnawing on your turtle?
Yep, munchy crunchy.
Okay, what do you have?
Shell's a little hard to get through. Something.
Do we know?
I can't remember what I've uploaded because it was late at night. I'm going into my drive with you guys, by the way.
Okay.
So
Let's
I
look-
know I should have at least one thing in Photoshop. And I think
Okay.
it's called annual report inside because I couldn't remember what to call it. It's all going to be too big. Okay, you got to go big or go home, and I'm not going home.
You are home.
Right. I was going to say,
Go big and stay home for.
COVID redo.
Right?
And big, it's Shay home. Almost like a funny mask.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yes. Ta-da! Jazz hands and everything.
I want to see more of the background on the right. But I like the swirls.
Dude, the swirls were like one of the best things I saw. Ow. Sorry, I decided I wanted to burn my hand while getting my pizza.
Mm.
So if anyone wants some cooked hand,
Maybe your turtle.
no, he's just hungry for power.
Hey,
It's
Kim,
really pretty.
do you think that maybe I got to get my super tools here? Do you think that maybe you could take the tops and the bottoms of these boxes and line them up so they're the same size?
Yep, I just saw that.
Okay. And here's another idea, and you can try this and see if you like it. But connect the boxes together and see.
I did.
Oh, you
I
didn't?
tried that. I tried making them the same color, and they were eh.
Okay.
I kind of like the little bit separated.
Okay.
But yeah, I can definitely go through and resize those.
Okay, I think that will help.
Yeah.
I think the layout is very attractive.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I like the splatters
Thank you.
in the background image and the
And-
swirl.
Here's one thing you might consider doing if you're into the whole continuity thing.
Yes.
This little point right here looks like a paintbrush, right?
Ooh,
Little point right there.
Kinda.
Well, what you could do is, do you see how this paintbrush is pointing this way?
Mm-hmm.
You could take this thing and move it up and angle it so this looks like it's the same angle as this paintbrush. And it would
Ooh.
provide this kind of visual continuity.
I could totally do that.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Ow.
Well, it looks really good. I don't have a lot of suggestions other than that. I think it's good.
It's really creative.
Awesome.
Nice job.
Okay, and then I know I do have one more thing because I worked on it late at night. I found out I despise InDesign with all of my being. Okay, I take it back. I like Illustrator. I despise InDesign.
Oh no.
So InDesign has what is that? It has succeeded. in
Usurped.
making
Usurped. It has usurped it. It's dubious.
Those blocks were so hard to make.
Now, Kim, you realize that you can make things in InDesign and Photoshop and drop them into Illustrator.
Yes, but I was stubborn. It was late at night and I wanted to go play games.
Okay.
And I had already started in there and I was going to finish in here.
Yeah, it would have taken a whole button click to go to another program, huh?
Right? That's one too many button clicks. Ow.
Well, I think this is really creative. I love the 3D blocks.
Me too.
Very nice. Looks great.
Awesome. And then I think that's all other than the umpteen bajillion things I'm putting into show and tell.
Okay.
I like your shirt, by the way, Kim. Is that like
Thank you. I made it.
you did? It's so
Yeah.
badass.
It has an actual little heart on it too. It's one of my
Awesome.
favorites.
Good news.
Wow.
I have a business card now. Well, it's not mine.
Okay. Is it that building block business card?
No, it's the Aveda business card picture. Because weren't we supposed to have them in pictures?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I
hey-
didn't want to use myself because I didn't want to use my actual number.
Got it.
Oh my gosh.
Albatross Bronson.
All I can think of is albatross because of that name. It looks like.
And then you made the logo?
Yeah, that's the logo I could come up with.
It's cool. Yeah.
Very nice. I like it.
I actually met a guy hiking in Pima Canyon. That's his job as a geologist, as he goes around and advises the gem show people what stuff to buy. And he goes all around the world.
Is it too late to show Photoshop stuff?
No.
In that case, I also made the infographic, and it should be, yeah, there it is. And it kind of, this is where the fictional part of infographic comes in.
Okay, this shows kind of the production process and sale of gemstones.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, it literally is tick doll rock turned into gemstone. And like that's not how it works, right? I'm just checking.
It does. A couple things you might consider, like if you put a background image here, like maybe a big image of a gemstone, that might be nice. And then if you could just, if you could look at the layout of the content that's inside these 4 rounded rectangles, if you could get them to be a little more consistent, like see the amount of space on the left here versus the amount of space on the left here versus the amount of space on the left here. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have to note that it was kind of hard because for some reason it only measured in pixels instead of inches for me.
Right. One thing that you can do, and I do this a lot, is I'll make one thing, like let's say this little yellow one down here was your favorite one as far as like spacing and everything. I'll make that and I'll copy and paste it in 4 times, and then I'll just swap out the text, swap out the picture, and use, you know, the one as a guide to make the other 3 so they're all consistent.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, but I like the idea. I like the colors and the content. It's looking good. Okay.
Great.
Let's see. Brianna,
Yes,
anything new?
yes, I have oh god, what do I have? I did the infographic, I fixed that, and then I also have the annual report pages and the business cards and finished catalog.
Okay, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, so this was based on Yi's suggestion to put some people fighting back there?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it certainly is more interesting with that guy down there.
Sweet.
You like Yi?
Yeah. I was actually thinking of like a more, what do you call that? In your face type of character, you know, like 2 swords clashing. Like on a typical yeah, this is fine too. I just like in my mind I was just picturing like do you know how like Street Fighter loading screen?
Yeah.
And yeah. I was thinking like 2 character like clashing swords. Like it's gonna be in front of that skull, but behind a red text box. That is what I was thinking.
I was
But this
trying
is
to
nice
put it
too.
like that, but the issue is because of the oversized size of the poster, I couldn't find one that actually like looked good between that area that like filled the whole entire page. And then a lot
Yeah.
of the fights I kept fighting were bright colors, so when I would mute them down, it like looked really, really weird. So this one was I took the safest route and chose this one.
I see. Yeah, I can see that being a big problem, getting the right picture.
Yeah. It does look attractive, and it's definitely an improvement too. Now, what were some of the other ones we have in here?
I have the business card.
That's Appa, huh? From the last Avatar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you guys fans of the Dragon Prince?
Yes.
I've seen it.
I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, some people are turned off by the kind of 3D-ishness of the 2D. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's because it's like 3D, but it's very choppy. I think it's running at 12 frames per second.
Yeah, that's what people don't really like about it. But I think it's really beautiful.
I like the design. I don't know what the rest of the references are, but
Yeah, well, this is Appa. He's a flying bison, and his master says "yip yip" to get him to fly.
oh,
So, I mean, it's a really cute name, even if you didn't know that. And then these are air symbols. So she's making lots of reference to this animated series, which people who are in the know would enjoy. But it looks good in and of itself too.
yeah, it does. I mean, because I don't even know that other stuff, but I like it. And the yip yip is funny. It just sounds like a Chinese
This makes me so happy. I felt like you should know.
restaurant.
Why, thank you.
And there's a nice repetition. You know how we talked about repetition in design. These little circles or swirls are kind of replicated in the bowl here. So very nice. And let's see, what else?
I have the annual report, the 2-page, and then I finished my stuff for the catalog.
Okay, so I see catalog final. Oh wow, that looks like a real catalog.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Yeah, very good.
Everything looks perfectly lined up too.
Looks like it could be in a real book or a real website or whatever.
Nice. I really like the color, the background color.
Yeah. And the minimalism, you know, putting all the space around everything is really nice too.
Thank you.
I like the business name.
It could be. I can see this being a calendar too.
Yeah, it could be. All right, and then you said you have the annual report. Do you have any idea what that's called?
It should be called Photoshop Final.
Pages?
Yes.
Ooh.
I decided to just keep what I did for the annual report cover and then just repeat it onto the actual pages. I had such difficulty with the words, but I think I did it right.
It looks extremely attractive.
Yeah, it's cool.
It looks really good.
Yay!
I like the images you chose. I like it's really cute.
The only suggestion I might have is these big L's, like at the beginning of the paragraphs. You might want to make those into drop caps. Do you know what I mean by that?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump over here to InDesign, and if I have a text block, let's see. Okay, so I have this little block of text, right? What I can do is I can highlight, well, actually I can just click in this paragraph and I'll get these options up at the top of my screen. This one right here tells me how many letters I want to turn into drop caps. So if I click this up, it means that one letter is going to be, the first letter is going to be the drop cap. And then the one above it tells me how many lines it's going to go on. So right now it's on 1, so it looks like a normal letter. But when I do this, it goes to 2. And let me open this up more so you can see what it actually looks like. So see how, I'm going to have to get rid of some of this stuff behind here so we can see this. But you see how this is dropping down to take up 2 lines of text?
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that we did in the mountain trails assignment. So you'll need to know how to do that for mountain trails. But if we go back to yours now, can you picture how if you took this L and dropped it down like that into the paragraph?
Oh, I see it. I did everything in Photoshop. I forgot we can go into InDesign, so I'll go back and put it in InDesign.
Well, you don't have to go to that effort if you don't want to. I'm just saying that I'm saying if you wanted to do this actual design, then you might use a program like InDesign because then you could do those drop caps. So
Got it.
yeah, okay. Looks
So the other two programs don't do the drop cut?
well. The other two programs, I think you have to sort of hack a drop cat. In other words, you have to kind of have to fake a drop cap and push everything around it, but InDesign will just do it. Boom, it's done, you know?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that's great. Anything else from you?
I don't think so. Oh, double checking the visit to Tucson poster. That's what we want to do.
Are you still working on that, or is it here?
Yeah, I'm still working on that, but I wanted to double check that's like any topic we can do for Tucson.
Yeah, you can do anything you want. Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. All right. And then Rena.
I don't have anything new right now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Milo.
I have mountain show.
Nothing new?
I have the mountain show.
I'm not quite hearing you, Milo. Did you say that nothing to show? That's what I think you said. Okay.
No, he said mountain trails.
Mountain trails. I couldn't hear what he said. Okay. Mountain trails. Is there some special?
Towards the top there. I watch a mountain show of NB.
All right. Okay. So you'll probably have to put this in as a PDF for me to be able to see it. Actually, I want to open this up because I want to show you guys something. InDesign is just a container. What it does is it contains links to your images, right? So if you send somebody an InDesign document and you don't send them the images, what it does is it shows a low resolution version of the images, and then it has these question marks saying, if you print this, it's going to look bad because I don't have the actual images, right? So that's why it's a good idea to go File, Export, and then just export this as a PDF. See how it says export as PDF, right? And then you can just pretty much leave all the defaults as long as you make sure it says high quality print and hit export. And then it will do, instead of being a container, it will take all of the different links and embed them into the one PDF. So then when you send that to somebody or when you print it, it will actually have all the information in it. But anyway, we can look at this and at least see that you did a nice job with the layout and the color and everything. It looks good.
Oh, thanks. For the bottom left photo, I couldn't find the picture.
No, it's missing the picture, and you probably weren't here when I said I told people to just find something on the internet and put it in there. So
okay.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, and then
That's all I have.
Oh, did you have anything else, or is that it? Okay. Adrian, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think I just have the what's it called? The mountain trail.
Okay. That looks good. I think, remember, Adrian, that I think you're supposed to put a drop shadow behind the word mountain trails.
Okay.
Yeah, but everything else looks good. Anything else?
No, that's just it.
Okay. Let's see. Claudia?
Hi.
I have the mountain trails.
Mountain trails. Nice. Like these little nuts down here. Looks good.
And thank you.
Well, you really went nuts with this.
That's cute.
It looks good though.
Thank you.
I was just
And
looking
I
at
have
the.
the in there, like in the same folder. Yeah, the Visit Tucson poster. It's the last one on the list.
Wow.
That's cool.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is this what we do to visitors? We burn a Tucson brand into their eyes?
Kind of. It's like cactuses everywhere and like,
That's true.
yeah.
Actually, your background kind of looks like what we wished Arizona would look like, with these beautiful colors, like the cactus are all purple and orange, you know.
And the colorful, like, what do you call it? Like the sunset.
Yeah, I mean, the sunsets here are gorgeous, but unfortunately, the desert doesn't look that colorful most of the time. I really like this because, well, I want to use this as an example to talk to you guys about hierarchy, right? So, first of all, there's beautiful colors in here, right? Which is very appealing to the eye, so that should get people to pay attention to it. But I also want you to pay attention to a kind of visual hierarchy which has to do with shapes. So what happens is you see this Visit Tucson at the top first because it's in white, which is high contrast to the background, and because it's big, right? But then your eye is forced by these cacti on the left to come down to this sign, right? And the sign forces you to go down. You hit this plant and the little fingers point you over to this rear view mirror. So the whole thing, it's almost, you know, sometimes hierarchies and leading lines, it's almost like a pointing game. It's like, look here. Okay, now look down here. Okay, look over there, right? And it forces your eye to flow. And I think it's very effective. So, you know, it's just when you get in the habit of starting to analyze images, it can help you with your design because you can put subtle leading lines and shapes and hierarchies in that make the eye flow the way you want it to. Okay, that looks great. And then anything else in here?
That's it for today. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so then we have Mia.
Hi there.
What do you got?
I redid the Photoshop final. The cover and the inside, just lightened up the cover a little.
Okay.
And darkened up the title. And then I flattened out the words on the other one.
I think it's an improvement.
It's getting better. Yeah.
This is cleaner.
Yeah, I liked the suggestions. Thank you. And I took out the underlining and all that. So that was a good idea. I didn't even really think about it because it was like I had clicked on it and it just stayed clicked for everything else I did. And I wasn't even paying attention to that.
Yeah, I know. We tend not to see things after we've looked at our images for hours.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then there's another one. It says extra cred postcards. There's a little folder. I did the 3 postcards because trying not to flunk.
Okay. Me too. I'd hate to flunk this class.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did all of these, or
It's front and back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you can just like flip through them. I tried to put them in order so they make sense.
So that's the front and the back of the same postcard.
The next one will be the back. Yeah.
Wow, that's really artistic.
Thanks. I did it. I drew, you guys. Hey, Luke Cottrell. I drew. I just wanted to play with my stylus pen.
Wait, what?
I drew the little letters and stuff. I hadn't never played with my stylus pen. It's just fun. So I unplugged my tablet and played like I was drawing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun. That was silly, right? And
That's a beautiful
then
image.
that I made with my foot when I was walking. I'm always drawing hearts in the sand and stuff. And that's a German postcard to my mother who recently passed. She was from Munich. And this one is because my twin got stung by what I'm calling a murder hornet.
That's so funny.
It is. Wait till you see, because she literally has this swollen arm and this really bad bite, and she tried to kill the thing and it didn't die. And I've decided it was a murder hornet. She thought it was a wasp, and I'm like, I don't think so.
Today we have murder hornets. When I was a kid, it was killer bees.
Yeah, yeah, right. So you might notice like some of the details for the postcard with the stamps and all that. I worked 10 years at the Postal Service, so what mail looks like on the back and front, I'm kind of, it's ingrained in my head.
I like the murder hornet stamp up there.
Isn't that funny? She hasn't seen these yet. I got to send it to her because she called me last night and showed me pictures of her arm, and it was pretty gnarly.
Oh.
And she said it was totally unprovoked.
Yeah, it's worse when it's provoked. Well, these are very nice. You did a great job on those.
Okay, thanks. And that's it.
Okay, and then we have Robin.
Nothing new today.
Okay, Alma.
I have the catalog.
Catalog. Wow, that looks like a real catalog.
Does. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it looks really good. Looks like it could be, like a pullout for the newspaper or something like that.
It looks like my childhood because I grew up in Vermont, and fall was always all that stuff. Looks really cool.
Yeah, good work.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we have Yee.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I do have that ID. It was what do you call it? Simon 3 PDF, I guess.
Sweet. Oh.
Yeah, go to Pokemon.
Okay. It's almost perfect. You have to put a shadow on the leaf.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then you have to make a small copy of the leaf facing the other direction down here.
Oh yeah, you're right. I missed that one out.
Truly awesome.
Yeah, but the Pokemon is hysterical.
They're out there.
I don't know.
That's what you're looking for in the woods, right?
Yep, Pokemons everywhere.
Pokemon. Okay, Luke, anything from you?
Hilarious.
Yeah, I have the mountain trails in the annual report tabloid thing. Oh yeah, it's not going to be in there. It's wait, where is the mountain trails?
I don't know, but I see the annual report.
Oh
wait, we saw that one already.
Yeah, then
the tabloid.
That one. Yeah.
Is this the double page spread of the annual report?
Right.
Okay. With Peter Sellers as Dr. Strangeglove?
I couldn't think of anything else to put in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really attractive. The blue and the sort of white blue text on the black and white looks really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that image. It's perfect.
Yeah.
The font too is good choices.
Yeah, lots of good choices. Hey, you know what you might try, Luke? Have you ever tried taking this circle down in size a little bit for the, the nuclear power thing? Have you tried it about the size of the regular O?
No, I could. I just kind of did it that way.
Okay.
I thought it looked decent, and so I just kind of.
You wanted to stand out a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, but I could do that. There's no problem with that.
And then.
And then I have the. I don't know what happened to them.
Oh, here it
I have
is.
the business card.
It's in the Photoshop folder.
Oh, there it is. I don't know why it's in there.
Oh, that looks good.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then I have like my actual business card in there, the one that I was struggling with.
Is it in InDesign?
The PDF. It's the PDF down there, the Elko.
Oh, I see. It's got an L, a C, and an O in it, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Is that like your initials, like Elko?
Right. Yeah, but it also
Right
kind
on.
of sounds like a company, like L and Co. company.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's cool. That's a great idea. Elko.
Thanks.
Yeah, and your font really matches this sort of hand-drawn look.
Yeah.
How
I'd have
did
to
you-
send them the whole
This is very cool. How did you do the texture design for the Elko, and then how'd you do all the weird triangles?
So the logo thing is like a drawing. I just like did pen and ink and then image traced it and then just like dragged it into InDesign from Illustrator. And then those little triangles and stuff is a painting that I did, but then I image traced that and then just like erased the middle of it. It's like supposed to go all the way consistently through, but it's just like cut out the middle part.
Oh. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Because I don't normally do stuff like that. It sounds like tons and tons of work, but came out great.
That's cool, man.
Thank you.
Very pretty.
You gotta have something to do.
Yeah, right.
You know what, Luke? I kind of wonder what it would look like if you took the Elko art and design off the back and took this square and centered it vertically. If the back of your card was just this beautiful design, and then on the front it had the text, and you could also have a little replication of the square and stuff like that. Because I'm thinking this thing might look really cool just as texture and design.
Okay. You mean just like without the logo in the center?
Yeah, let me, I think I can do it real quick. Oh, I guess I was wrong. I tried to get it to, okay, it didn't let me do it though. Download. Okay, here's the PDF. So you can open PDFs in Photoshop, but they won't be PDFs anymore. It'll just be an image file. You just tell it, go ahead and open it, and you tell it what size and resolution you want it. And now it's just a Photoshop file, so you can't really use it as anything else. But yeah, so what I'm talking about is if you took this off and put it on the front, and then took this thing here and sort of centered it on the page, this might be a really cool, just sort of textural background on the back, you know?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a really cool design, so kudos to you for doing it.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, or?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right, did anybody else have anything that I missed? Anybody upload anything while we were talking, or did I miss anybody? Okay. All right, so it is right about 2 o'clock now. Let's take a 15-minute break. When we come back, we'll look at the assignment for today. You guys are going to want to download, click on this link where it says download these files. There's going to be a PDF in there and some image files, kind of like the Mountain Trails project, but this one's going to deal with orchids. So go ahead and download those, and then when we come back, we'll take a look at that.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
I was playing with those files just before class started, and there was the little circle that had the background at the bottom of like page 3. It's like you had to make a circle and maybe get the colored background.
Uh-huh.
And before I saw the image, because I didn't realize I kind of made my own. I cut and pasted out and made a circle with it. Do you care if it's the exact background?
No.
I made one.
No, I'll show you the technique they use, but you can do it any way you want.
Yeah, I hacked it.
That's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Hey, Greg.
Okay, we are back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the class website and download those files. And then I'm going to open them up. And then I will share my screen with you guys. So InDesign, ZinDesign 4.3. Let's put that on the desktop. Okay. So all right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so let's see. Is anybody back from break yet?
I am.
Yep.
I'm here.
A couple of you guys are? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, cool. So in this folder that you download from the website, it's going to have a chunk of text, this ORCID text. It's going to have the PDF, which explains the project, and then a bunch of photos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 photos of orchids, right? Now, of course, all of the images you'll be able to place using the place command. The text you can place, you can just go file place, and then you'll get a little text cursor that you can just drag out and it'll fill up with text. And then there are some special kind of effects things that we're going to do in InDesign, right? So one thing is, InDesign is unusual in a couple of ways. I'm just going to go ahead and make a new document here and just leave it as a regular default page and hit create, right? Okay, so InDesign is unusual in that it has these things called frames. And if you look over here on the left-hand side, you'll see that, excuse me, in the toolbox, there are shape tools, which is this rectangle, and then underneath that, an ellipse and a polygon. But right above that is this little thing called a rectangular frame tool. Now, let me show you the difference. So, of course, if you click on a shape tool, and then you come down here to your stroke box and make it black and drag that out, then you're going to get a shape, right? A rectangular shape, which you could do a variety of things with, right? Now, if you click on the one that has the X in the middle of it, what you get is a rectangular frame. Now, what a frame is meant for, another word for it would be a placeholder, right? A frame is meant to hold an image, and it's a placeholder for an image. So in other words, if I were doing, if I were going to do some big graphic here, and I was going to have 2 columns of text, kind of like that Mountain Trails thing, and I wanted to put a graphic in here, I might use my frame tool to lay out a placeholder box where my graphic is going to go, right? And then when I'm ready to bring my graphic in, I can use the place command and it will go right inside of the frame, right? This little frame that I made. So if I go file, place, let me go find that, let me find that mountain trails folder just for grins. So here we go, mountain trails, and I can do panorama and I can do open and see how it goes in there and it fills up the frame, right? Now, there's some interesting things you can do with frames, right? If you right click on an image that's inside of a frame, you're going to get a bunch of weird choices, right? One of them is this thing called fitting. And with fitting, you can take the content and fit it to the frame. So see, it says fit content to frame. So in other words, this picture right here is actually much bigger than this frame. But if I go fitting and I go fit content to frame, boom, it resizes the picture and it stuffs it in so that it fits into this window, right? Now remember, when you have pictures in InDesign, you can use the side walls of the picture as a cropping tool, right? So in other words, if there's some extra picture down here, I can click on this handle and I can pull it down and it will show me more image, right? But that's only if there is more image, right? Now I can show you an example of it. If I use my Control-Z key a couple times and go back to where the image was when I first placed it, if I grab this now and I drag it down, you can see this is essentially a cropping tool because the picture is this high. And if I take this and I move it in like this, I'm basically cropping the picture to whatever size I want it at using, the frame tool, right? Now the frame tool comes in different shapes. There is a polygonal frame tool, which makes a shape like a polygon. And when you bring a picture in, when you place a picture into that, it's going to go ahead and take the shape of the frame. So you can see that there it is. There's the polygon of the, it's a polygon cropping of the tree picture, right? Now what's interesting about this is the tree picture is actually much bigger than this. The tree picture kind of goes like down here and over here and everything. Well, let's say that you like this polygonal shape, or this hexagonal shape, but you didn't quite like how the trees were arranged in there. Well, that's what the center circle is for. If you click your mouse on the center circle, you can actually see the whole picture and you can move it around inside of the frame. You see that? Until you get what you want showing up just in the frame. Now, if you click anywhere else, you're going to be moving the whole frame, right? But only when you click on the center picture is it going to move around and help you crop, right? Now, I'll give you a perfect example of this. In the assignment, they're going to ask you to use like what's called the ellipse frame tool. And of course, if you just drag out an ellipse, it's going to be an ellipse. But if you hold your shift key down, you can drag the ellipse out so that it's a circle, right? Now, if I take my ellipse frame tool and I hold my shift key down, drag it to be a circle, and then I go file place, whatever I place in there is going to get a circular crop to it, right? So what I'm looking for now is that folder that we just downloaded, which is, I think it starts with an I. No, it doesn't. God, what does it start with? I guess I'd have to go look it up again. Let's see. Let me try. Oh, I know. My download folders will tell me.
It's ZIN Design 4.
Thank you. ZIN. I knew it was like something. Okay. All right. So remember, I made the oval shape into a circle by holding my shift key down. And all I have to do is grab any one of these flowers, right? And hit open. And what it's going to do is it's going to open it inside of this crop, right? So now if I click on my move tool and I click on this thing, if I click on the center circle, it will allow me to move this thing around, right? Remember I had that thing where with fitting? Well, if you look at this picture, it's huge, and so we're not seeing the flower, right? So if I right click and I say fitting, fit content to frame, all of a sudden my picture shrinks down so that the proportions of it are just a little bigger than my frame. So in other words, it shrinks down to a square, and I have a circular frame, and so that looks much better, right? It's a much nicer crop. Now, once you have something like this, obviously you can click anywhere in it except the center and move it around. And then let's say that for some reason, for an aesthetic reason, you wanted it to be semi-transparent. You wanted that picture to be faded back a little, right? In that case, you would use the transparency effect inside of InDesign, right? So what happens is you could go under, let's see, they always hide this thing on me. Yeah, you could go under Window and Effects and then go to Transparency, okay? Now, under Transparency, you can click on this drop-down menu here and you get this thing called the Transparency Slider. And as you move it to the left, the item becomes more and more transparent. So like if you wanted a 50% transparency, you would just leave it there and you would hit OK and boom, there you go, right?
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
Up at the top, there's a slider that's an opacity slider next to the stroke. Is that different than what you just did? The top toolbar.
This guy right here?
It's at the top, next to the big black rectangle stroke.
Yeah, this, oh. Up here? Oh, this?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that works as well. That works.
Same thing, okay, thanks, I just wanted to check.
Yeah, okay, so that's what frames are used for, right? And they're pretty cool. A nice thing about a frame is if you have to fit something into a very specific area, you can make the frame exactly that size, and then when you place the image in, you can use that fitting thing to fit the picture, and then you can just move it around with the little circle. That's one of the things InDesign's actually really good at, is this kind of specialized cropping and moving. The other programs don't have these features, right? And of course, this is really useful in a layout program. That's what InDesign is known for, is layout, for doing things like magazines and advertisements and things like that. Okay, so let's see what else they want us to learn here. So review how to import or place text, right? So, you know, one of the things you're going to want to do is look at what it is you're trying to create, right? In this case, it looks like we're making a cover page and then we're making a double page spread, right? Now in InDesign, I created this document and I just made it one page, right? But I can add more pages. I can go up over to the right here. I can click on this pages drop down here, and then I can go up here and I can say insert pages, right? And it's saying, well, how many pages do you want? And I was like, well, I need to make 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to add 2 more pages. Let's see, add 2 pages after page 1 and hit OK. And see what it does is it makes 2 pages and it puts them in a double page spread below the first page. So that means you could do your cover here and then go down here and work on your pages, right? Now your page window here, your page panel will allow you to navigate around between pages, but an even easier way to do that is down in your lower left-hand corner. You can click these little arrows down here and these will navigate you between pages, or you can click the drop down and just go straight to a page, right? Now, of course, if we look at our first page here, this is just a large image, and then it's a couple of pieces of text that have some drop shadows on them. So that's nothing very unusual. You know, if I wanted to, okay, once again, here's an excuse to use the rectangular frame tool. I could click on my rectangular frame tool and I could make a frame that was exactly the size of this page. Then when I go bring in an orchid, and I'm just going to bring in whatever orchid, I don't really care which picture it is. Let's see, maybe this one. That one looks kind of like it. Okay.
It's number 2 is the big one.
Yeah. So this picture will actually give me an example to show you something else. So you see how this picture is, it came in, but it's not as big as this, right? So what I can do now is if I right click and I say fitting, fit content to frame, see how it stretches it out, right? So then I can right click and I can say, I can try a couple different things. Fit content proportionally, right? And then it just zooms it down a little bit, right? The other options that I have are, let's see, fit frame proportionately. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. So when you go fit frame proportionally, what it does is, instead of making the content fit the frame, it makes the frame fit the content, where the content gets blown up and fills the whole frame, right? So trust me, you might have to play around with those and click on a couple of different ones to get the result that you want. But eventually you can get, you know, it to fill up the whole frame in whatever fashion you want. Okay, so we've got our orchid there. It's nice and big. We can click on our text tool. Now you always have the option to make new layers.
I had a question
Go
on
in
that.
and name this BG for background.
Can I ask you one question on that?
Yeah.
I just kind of Control Shift expanded that image, and then I had all this extra image floating around the page that doesn't show when you do preview. It was a little weird, but
That's a perfectly legitimate way to do it.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can do that. You know, one of the things you learn about these programs is that there's a half a dozen ways to do everything, and none of them is wrong. So as long as you get the desired result, you're good.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I have a tendency to make a background layer and to lock it so that I don't mess with that. I don't accidentally move everything around. And then I'll make a new layer. I might even name that layer text or something. Then I'll get on grab my text tool, and I'll drag out a piece of text here. You have a question, Yi?
Yeah. How do you make it fit the background nicely? Mine just fits horizontally.
You have to right click. You right click and you say, let's see, I have to unlock it here.
So I have to bring it out first, right?
Well, the first thing you have to do is you click on the frame tool, this one right here, and you make a frame which is exactly the same size as the page.
Okay.
And then you go File, Place, and you put your image in there.
File, place. Okay, I have my image in here, but it's
Okay, now right click on the image.
Uh-huh.
Go to fitting and go fit frame proportionally.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so then I've made that I've called that the background layer. I've locked it. I've made a new layer. I clicked on my text tool and dragged out a piece of text. And now I'm just going to type in, you know, exotic and beautiful. I'm going to highlight that text and increase its size. So I'll go down here, and I don't know what size they tell you to make it. I'll just make it a, you know, a certain size. Okay. And of course, it looks like it is sans serif and it's bold. So, you know, and they'll tell you once again what font to use and everything like that. But so I'm just going to use Times New Roman. Notice that when I made it bold, it went beyond the bounding box. So I have to click on this little handle and drag the bounding box out a little bit. And you know, you're going to have it over here. We know that the fill is going to be white. So we can click on this drop-down menu and change it to paper. Oops, my bad. That changed the background of the box. So that was a mistake. So what I'm going to do is go back up here and change the background of the box to none. And I'm actually going to click on my text tool and highlight all of this, and then double click down here on the T, drag my little cursor up to the top left corner or top right corner, grab my arrows and bring them to the top so I get pure white, and now I have white text. Now another thing we see here is a drop shadow effect. So of course that's going to be on the effects menu. I can click and do drop shadow, and then of course I can play with all these settings to get the drop shadow I want. And then of course I would do exactly the same thing with the word orchids, right? Make another big thing, put my caps lock on, you know, type orchids. This looks like it's in a different sans serif font. So I'll just choose something like Arial Bold just for my demo purposes. Make it super huge. I can click on these drop down menus and, you know, pick a much bigger size. Oops. And sometimes it gets so big once again that it extends past your box, right? So then I can take this text, highlight it, pick a color, in this case a dark green, do the drop shadow thing again. As soon as that's selected, it will let me pick the drop shadow, and then of course mess with that until I get the desired effect, right? Now then you would, you know, position all this stuff so it looks the way you want it to look. And of course, as you're working on it, you would be checking the preview mode to make sure it looks good, right? So I did that very quickly, but you know, you guys will spend a little more time making it look nice and, you know, following the instructions in the PDF. Now down here, when we get to the double page spread, you're going to drop in pictures, and you're going to use that text wrap tool to make the text wrap around, right? You're also going to have, so you're going to drop in 2 pictures, which, you know, the text will wrap around this one. Text will be underneath this one. You're going to drop in a little thumbnail up here, a circular frame picture down here with some lines behind it. You're going to replicate those lines here, and then here, you're going to do a circular color with a number in it and make it fade back, right? Now, like I said, there's a million different ways you can do all this stuff, so I'll just show you some of them, and you guys can decide what works for you. Now, one of the first things I want to do is bring my text in, because I tend to like to work around my text block, right? So what I'll do is I'll go File, Place. I'll go to my file and I'll find my text file and I'll hit Open. That will give me a cursor here with text in it. Now notice your text doesn't start till like 1/3 of the way down the page, so it doesn't make any sense for you to start any sooner than that, right? And you can see here's all my text, right? Now notice that there's more text than is showing, because that's what this little red box means down here. So what you do is take your mouse, click on the little plus symbol down here, and now your cursor loads up with this. Now you can come over to the other page and you can click and drag out, and what will happen is all of the overflow text from that first box will go over into the second box. And so now you've got all that laid out. Now, of course, when you do things like add a picture in here, it's going to push even more text over there because it just pushes it through, right? Okay. So next we got to put a picture in here. So just a little reminder of how to do the text wraparound. We got to go find the picture that looks like that. Now, once again, I could just drop pictures in, or I could use my little place function here. Now, my frame function here, right? So I could click on this and I could drag out a frame, which is essentially the size that this picture is going to be. Now I can go File, Place, and when you have your frame selected, it's going to put the picture in there. Now I have to look and see, this is the really purpley orchid. Looks like it's that one, right? So I hit Open, and sure enough, it drops that purpley orchid in there. But of course, it's too big, right? If we click on the hand tool and we click on the middle part, you can see how big that image is. So once again, this is where we would right-click and say Fitting. In this case, fit content, which is the picture, to the frame, which is the box. When we do that, everything gets real small and looks nice, right? Okay, so now we want to turn the text wrap command on, so all this text will push around it. And of course, when we do that, like I said, more text will push over here. Now here's your text wrap option, right? This little text wrap panel. You go ahead and click on the third icon from the left, and then you take this little number here and you hit the up arrow, and every time you hit the up arrow, it moves the text a little further away from the edge. Now, it's moving the text further away from the edge on all four sides, and you might see something unusual, which is you might see that it looks like there's more space on the bottom than there is on the side, and that just has to do with the way that the text breaks, right? If this line right here were all the way over here, it would look the same, but because it's not, it looks a little different, right? It looks a little weird, you know? But you can see even in this picture, it's very small, but you can see that there's more space on the bottom than the side. So that's a perfectly legitimate way to do that. Now, there's other things you have to do with this text. The text is all kind of glommed together, but you have to put a paragraph in here. You have to put a paragraph return in here. They want you to make this thing bold and to color it. So I could highlight that, and I could, you know, whatever font they tell me to use, I could use that. I could make it bold. They want me to color it, so I can highlight it, choose whatever color they want me to put in there, and so on and so forth, right? So what this does is it makes your text look better because you're breaking it up into these little paragraphs, right? Okay, and so then over here on the other side, and I'm holding my space bar now, and it's giving me this hand tool where I can drag over, right? Over on this other side, you're also going to make some paragraph returns here. You're also going to make some boldness, and you're also going to make things the same color green as that other one, right? Okay, and so, and what you can see here is they want all of the text except for these last three paragraphs to be on the left. So what I have to do is I have to format this like they have it, and then I have to go back to this page, and I have to somehow get my extra text, which is at the top here, over on this side, right? Now I'm even missing one paragraph here. This should be a paragraph right here. Okay. Now, if I can successfully get all of this junk over here, I'm golden, because that's what this thing looks like, right? So, holding down my space bar so I can get the hand tool and move this over, right? What I can do, I think I made my picture way too big. And so it's pushing the text out way more than it should, because all of this text should be over here. So I click on my picture, I hold down my Shift key and my Control key, or the Command key on the Mac. I click on one of the corner handles and I start to drag it in, and I basically keep dragging it in until my text does what I want it to. I keep dragging it in until all that nasty text comes over here to where it's supposed to be. Like, ooh, almost so. Okay, now, obviously that doesn't quite look like this because, you know, this picture is much bigger in this image, but I at least got what I wanted here, which is I want this text block to have just this content in it, right? And be centered right about there. And then I want this text block to start with the word understanding, right? But in order for this to look any good at all, I might have to cheat a little bit here and make my picture a little bigger, right? Now, what I'm doing here, I'm of course just using whatever font I want to use and stuff. And they're telling us, you know, we should use a specific font. So, you know, when you use the font that they tell you and you use the font size and everything, you're going to get better results than I'm getting here. You're going to get something that looks more like that, right? So anyway, I just kind of hacked it a little bit so it looks a little better. So now at least this thing's bigger. We got this bunch of text, and then this gets pushed over here, right? Okay, so now we've got a couple other things we have to do. We got to drop in a big image at the top here. And once again, that's an excellent opportunity for using the frame tool. So the frame tool looks like the shape tool, but it has an X in it. Now for this one, it looks like it goes all the way across the top of the page, all the way to the edge. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to drag this all the way to the edge. There's my frame, which is going to hold the picture. File, place, grab the appropriate picture and hit open. right? And it looks like that picture is actually, it's very close to the size, but not quite the size. So I do have to use that fitting command. So I'm going to click on my black arrow tool, right click in here and do fitting. And, you know, sometimes I have to try different things. So I'll try fit frame proportionately. Oh, good. I got it on the first one, right? So there it is. It expanded the picture so that it fit. And now we're good there, right? Now, just a couple other things we need to do for this exercise. We need to put a little thumbnail picture here, the semi-transparent there, circle picture there, and then the lines, right? And the text. Okay, so so once again, for the text, we can say, you know, just type in basics, I think, of orchid names, right? That's going to be the piece of text right there. And then there's going to be another piece of text underneath it that is going to say, now that I have this plant, what do I do with it, right? So now that I have this plant, and then I'm going to hit comma and return. What do I do with it? Okay, and then this font here is a sans serif font, and they'll tell you in the instructions which ones to use. I'll just use my Arial because I like that one. And then, you know, make this bigger, right? Now, I'm just putting in sort of placeholder text, and you guys are going to put in the correct text at the correct size, right? Now, I know that I need to get some of these purpley lines in here, but I also know that they're connected to these pictures. So it seems it would help to have the pictures in there first. So this first one just looks like a tiny little, almost square picture up in the top right corner of the first page. So I'm going to click on my frame tool, and I'm just going to draw out approximately something which is that size, right? I'm going to go try and find that picture. And so that's going to be File, Place. And I'm not quite sure which picture it is. Let's see. It's got the white center. I don't really know which picture it is. I'm just going to pick this one. I think it might be this picture. And then I want to make this picture much smaller. So I can try a couple of different techniques here. I can say fit frame proportionately. Okay, that looks like it worked, right? So fit frame proportionally. So, okay, now that I've got my little picture there, I can see in my little assignment that I'm supposed to have a line that goes right underneath that, which is also right above the text. So I got to move my text down a little bit, right? And now I got to draw a line. Now, to draw a line, you simply use this line tool over here, and then you go into the stroke, which is this little box right here, and you select the color that you want. Now, I can double click on this and I can, you know, I can mix a kind of a purpley color, or I could probably sample a color off of my screen here. So like if I click on my eyedropper tool, so right here on your left-hand side, there's something called the color theme tool, and underneath that is the eyedropper tool, right? If I go to my eyedropper tool and I just click on one of these little purple points here, it's going to turn my stroke purple. Then if I use my zoom tool, my magnifying glass, click on my line tool, start over here at the bottom of the picture, I'm going to click and I'm going to hold my shift key down while I drag this line across. And what it's going to do is it's going to produce a straight line, which is that purpley color that I just sampled, right? Now their lines are kind of pink. So I might go ahead and resample and try and get something that's a little more pinky purple. There, that's more pink. Let's see if that looks a little better. Oh, it's still super purple. Okay, so I think I'm just going to cheat and just use Uber Pink so that it actually looks like that. Okay. Now you can also take your lines and you can increase the stroke on them so that they're a little thicker, a little easier to see, right? You can copy and paste your lines in, edit, copy, edit, paste. And then you can take your second line and line it up with the first. And then you'll have this kind of, you know, this kind of look that they produced right here, right? Now, of course, their lines are a little thinner. I did mine a little thicker so they're easy to see. Now, of course, I could also copy these two lines. I could shift click on both of them. I'll hold down my space bar so I get the hand tool and move to the bottom of page 2. And I can paste these lines in with Control V. And then I can just, you know, drag them across the page until they hit the edges of the margin, right? And then I'm all ready to go for my last little bit, which is basically putting in these two graphics, the circle down here and the circle up here. Okay, so to put in the circle down there, I know I have to use a circular frame tool. So I choose the ellipse frame tool. I hold down my shift key and I draw out a little circle. Okay, so now I've got, oops, for some reason that did something really weird. Let me go ahead and make my stroke none. And let me see if this is making frame. It's really weird. It's not. Oh, I see. It's because I'm in preview mode. I need to be in normal mode, and then I can see my frames. Okay. So once again, I went to a normal mode. I'm holding down my shift key with the circular frame tool selected, and I make my circle, right? Now, they want me to go pick this picture here. I don't know if I'm going to get it exactly right. File, place. I'll do the best I can. Maybe it's this picture. Maybe not. Let's see. I can see how I can do. Once again, I can right click. Yeah. So this is not the exact picture. It's a little, the picture's a little different, but I'm just going to leave that one in there because it'll serve the purpose, right? Now you can click on this, you can move it around, right? You can get it just so it's centered in the page if you want. A good way to do that is if you click on your text, it's going to show you where the center line is, and you can click on your ruler over here and drag a guideline over and put it right in between those boxes, and that's going to be your center point. Now mine keeps snapping a little too far to the left, so I'm going to try putting it on the right. It still didn't snap right. Okay. Anyway, I'm just going to put this the best I can. Okay, there it is. And then you can move your little circle guy over, right? And there we go. Okay. Now the last thing is to put in this circle with the 18 in it, right? And I can see that I want to move these guys over some to make room for the circle. I can click on my two lines and I can grab the center and I can move those lines over a little bit too. And now I give myself some room to put the circle in. Now for the circle, there's many, many, many ways you could make that. One of the easiest ways to do it would just be to make, to take your ellipse tool, or your regular ellipse tool, not the frame ellipse tool, come up here, hold your shift key down and just make a circle, right? Now you can fill that circle with, you know, whatever kind of pinky color that you want. And then go into your effects or go up to the transparency slider that's up there and just make it very, very light, you know, very screen back, right? Then all you have to do is type the number 18, 18, get it really big and in a nice sans serif font. So we're gonna go Arial bold. We're going to make it ginormous. So let's see. Let me go ahead and put in like 200 and see how I do. 200 is ginormous, probably way too big. It's not that much bigger than it needs to be. And once again, they'll tell you what font to use and everything. But if I take this 18 and I change it to white, so I highlight it and change it to white, and then I place it on top of this little pink circle, it's going to give me, you know, approximately the look that they're looking for. But of course, my font is different than the one they want you to use, right? Okay. All right, now, right now, it just looks like a bunch of lines and a bunch of weird things running into each other. But if I, let's see, I got to make this smaller. This is why you want to make your text boxes as small as possible, because they interfere, they get in the way. Okay, so now I got to click on this top one and drag it over like this. Okay, let's go like this. Okay. Okay, so now once you've got everything kind of positioned on the page, you can go into your preview mode. Normal mode, let's see, preview mode. Boom, okay. And now it's starting to look like an actual design, right? Now there's plenty I could do with this. First of all, I could use the correct fonts or the correct sizes. That would help, right? Make everything stop and start where it's supposed to go. I used the wrong picture here, so I should use the correct one. But essentially, as far as just the demo goes, everything's in the right place. It's just a matter of using the correct fonts and the correct sizes, right? So that's the exercise for you guys to do today. And then if you tend to work quickly and you get this done very quickly, then use the time that we have in your work session today to catch up on some other work. And then, of course, we'll have our show and tell at the end of class. All right, so questions. Who's got a question for me?
I do. Great. Is there, I was reading on another one, and is there another assignment we have to do about artificial intelligence?
Yeah, yeah, yesterday I put a little post up, and it said that I wanted you to do a poster about artificial intelligence. And once again, that can be a very simple design. You could just go get a very beautiful photo from like Unsplash or Pexels or Free Images and put it in the background of like a 24×36 document, and then you know, put some text on there, maybe a few icons or a few smaller pictures, text that you can get from Wikipedia, just about artificial intelligence. What is it? Where are we with it? You know, what's the latest technology coming around the corner? So it's just an assignment to get you to once again exercise your skills and make one more little poster.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Since we didn't talk about it, I kind of thought, I was wondering if it was something necessary to do.
Well, yeah, it's something you need to do because it creates the space where there's 10 projects in InDesign. We had 10 in Illustrator and 10 in Photoshop, and that gives you the exact same number of projects. And then it's easy to grade, and you know, everything just kind of comes together very nicely. So yeah, so when you have a chance, you know, do that. And like I said, it doesn't have to be extremely detailed. Just it can be really fun and beautiful. You know, whatever you think will look good. Okay, other questions?
I had a question about how you got the text inside of the in the layout. Did you just like place the text document into a text box that you created? I didn't quite catch how you did that.
Okay, I'll show you. So let's say that I wanted to add another page to this document. I'll just go up to pages. You see I have 3 pages here. I'll click on this drop down menu. I would go insert pages, and I'm just going to say I'm going to insert 2 more pages after page 3. So now you see I have 5 pages, right? Okay. Now, if I want to drop text in here, I can simply go File, Place, click on my text file, hit Open. It's going to give me this cursor, and all I have to do is click and drag out the text box, and it will make my text. Now, since I want this to carry over to the next page, I'm going to click on this little red box and then make a link text box over here.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that's how you did it, because
Yeah.
last time I like opened up the Word document and I don't have Microsoft Word, and it was just kind of a pain. So.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I mean,
No worries.
worst case scenario, you can, if you can open a document, you can always copy and paste it in. But this place command is so easy. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, other questions? Okay, why don't you guys work on this, and then I'll check in with you when probably in about 50 minutes or so, 50 minutes, so close to an hour. So see how much work you can pound out in that time, and then we'll have our show and tell.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Greg, can you freescale an image, like freehand scale it within a frame?
Ah, let me see. Okay. Here's my rectangular frame tool. And then file, place, it doesn't matter what image it is. Okay, now let's see, let's click on the image. So, okay, so when we do this, we know we can move the image. So the question is, can we scale the image without scaling the this thing out here? So let's see. Yeah, so you can right click on it and you can do transform scale. And then what's going to happen is you're going to be, let's see what it's going to scale. I hope it's going to scale the picture and not the frame. So let's just take it down to 50% and hit preview. Ah, shoot, no, that's scaling the whole thing. Okay, so that's not it. Let's see what our other options are. Oh, wait a minute. Let me try one thing here. Oh yeah, okay, great. So the answer is, if you click on your white arrow tool, and then you click on the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Then what you do is you see the actual boundaries of the picture. If you hold your shift key down and you grab one of the corners, now you're actually scaling the picture itself inside of the frame box.
Okay, yay, thank you.
Okay.
That was funny. That was a good question. Thanks.
Yeah, it was a good question.